Hey folks, this is, maybe I should mute the music so it's not looping like crazy. Hold on a second, sorry about that. Hey folks, I hope y'all are doing well. I hope y'all can hear me well. It looks like everything is going well. Let me stop the music on this computer. So instead of me doing the typical, well, first off, hey, we're trying something new. So let me see if this works here. And why am I not getting any of my messages? All right, so I'm trying to test out my live stream. I'm using vMix to try and bring in y'all's comments, but for some reason, it's not working. So while I'm trying to figure this out, this is obvious that this is live, folks. So instead of doing the typical build videos that I normally would doing, I was like, why don't I just do a live stream so y'all can see what is going on. I'm trying to bring y'all's comments in here. It says I'm connected. I tested this and I don't know why I'm not getting anything. So I don't know. I've been testing this to try and get everything. So anyway, hello everybody who's in the chat. So like I said, I'm not going to beat around the bush. This main thing is for me to test out vMix, and my chat is not working the way I thought it was going to work. Because honestly, it would show up something like this if my chat was working, and it should be able to pull from y'all. See, this was my test the other day, so I don't know what is going on with my stuff here. Give me one more second to test this out. But pretty much all I'm trying to do is going to do a build, and I have a limited amount of time of how I'm going to be doing this, especially since I gotta pick my daughter up here. So we're gonna see, can we put together a whole live streaming system in an hour? Let's see. Let me just cut over here. I don't know what's going on with my stuff, so we just gotta deal with it. So we have our typical Gigabyte DS3H we're gonna be using. Sorry about the noise. We got our, yeah, actually, Jonathan, that's what vMix Social is what I'm using. Everything says it's connected, but I'm not pulling anything from the messages for some odd reason. Let me try something here. So, all right, so like, for example, I'm engaging this. You should see that, and a hello. See, that came from me, from the chat, but it's not pulling up anything from y'all, which I have absolutely no idea about. Let me turn this off and turn it right back on. And let me see, am I seeing anything? Still not seeing anything. So I'm honestly, I don't know. So I'm gonna try and chat as much as I can. What tier am I using? I am actually just using the $60 one. I only have 4 inputs. So I'm gonna apologize right now. Augustine, I was just talking to him on the phone. He understands. I am in extreme tooth pain right now. So you may see me take a little swig of some V8 juice here so that I can, I don't know, that just has made my mouth not hurt. So you might see me do that. So anyway, what I normally do when I'm building this stuff out is this is the exact same system I normally build. And I had a subscriber reach out to me, and if they join this call, I will let them know who it is. But pretty much what I like to do is take out this bracket here, because the Ryzen systems that come with a CPU fan don't fit. So that's why I always take these off. All my other part, he said, V8 fuels the ministry. So I have this on the side. So let me prep, and literally everything else came in. So let me bring this over here. And it's no surprise what equipment that I got, because like I said, this is the reason why I always build a similar type system. We have a 2 terabyte hard drive that we're using for additional storage if they want to record. We have the Ryzen 3 3200G, which is going to be our processor, a 512 gigabyte NVMe for apps and everything, 16 gigs of memory, Decalink mini recorder 4K for our capture card, and that's it. So let's see what's going on here. So it doesn't really matter the order that you start. I'm going to start with the NVMe just to get this out of the way. And I can feel a little pain coming on, so let me take a little sip of this. And I'm really disappointed that my chat is not working, because I mean, I tested this, and that's the reason why I was going to use this for our live stream. Ballpark cost of all the parts is right at around $750, and that's including the capture card, which they've actually started acting up. Some of the vendors I go to, I use Adorama a lot of the times because they do not mark this up. Or B&H Photo, that's where I get this capture price from. Bug Homes Official, hello, and please do not spam the mess in the chat, please. All right, so we got our NVMe. I take this little screw out, and it's just amazing how much technology has came by to where how much smaller this is, and my key is not looking great, so let me turn that off. So we just slide this in there for our hard drive. Boom. Take this little screw, and that's about it. Normally I would have music playing in the background, and technically I could. I just can't hear this. Yeah, King Piccolo. Yeah, that's why I as people know that are in the Facebook group, we have no problem with slinging Mjolnir and just kicking people out and all this other stuff. All right, that's one out of the way. I don't need these. Now for the CPU. And a lot of people have asked me, I do actually use my own type of additional compound for the CPU. I've used this Arctic MX4, but really I don't have any need for it because it's not like this is going to be heavily overclocked or anything. So the typical that comes with the processor is perfectly fine, and I'm still highly disappointed that my chat is not working, because that gives me some more interaction with y'all good folks. Let me close out social, and then I'm gonna open it up again, and maybe I can get some better results this time. All right, we're on. See, it says I have absolutely nothing in the chat. Okay, this is different. It finally popped up, so maybe it's working now. I hope so, because give me 1 second, folks. I'm gonna see if I get the chat rolling, and then I can. There we go. There we go. We're doing better now. So send. We should see King Piccolo's message here. Yay! The chat is finally working. So that way I can bring y'all up. Hello, St. James, AMEC from Cleveland. Hello, hello. I will be building my own computer system this week. Awesome. So y'all should see this chat pop up here in a second. It is behind. There you go. So we got it all working, so that's cool, finally. So this is what we're looking for. I'm gonna play around with this and increase the font size and all this other stuff like that. Now, how long automatically update most recent this. Yeah, I think this should go away soon. If not, I need to end my Q&A. I got it here. Okay, I got it on my Stream Deck, which I'm also playing around with Companion for those people who asked. Larry, hello. Chad Holmes, what's going on? I've been experiencing weird things with YouTube. There's no longer a start live. Yeah, I came across that, Chad. It's like, even with this, you actually need to go to schedule, and that's where you'll see those buttons. Schedule a stream. Because now in YouTube, if you try to do a live stream, you immediately are live. There's no prep. It goes right into it. Hello, Alan Binny from Bangalore, India. Hello, hello. All right, so we got our CPU there, and yes, I do keep the stickers. I put that on the case of choice. So far what we've got is we've got the CPU installed. We've got our NVMe drive installed. Box in the trash. And let me, there we go, dropping something. So let me show y'all here. So we're going to keep bringing up our chat here. So we had, oh, I need to add y'all to the queue. That makes it easier. Add to the queue, add to the queue, add to the queue. All right, so thankfully, this stuff will work out here. What's another product that does what OBS does? Well, St. James, I am using vMix right now, and that's another program that does this. There's a bunch of them. StreamYard is another one. Here's the CPU fan that we're syncing and putting on here. So vMix is what you're seeing that brings up all the stuff that you're seeing right now. And we got some additional tooth pain coming back. So you know what that means. Let's get a swig of some V8. All right, so I wonder if anybody knows, is there a way that I can automatically have this pop up? Let me come back here. Hey Charlene, hello from Waco. The processor I'm using is, and I just threw the box over there, I'm using a Ryzen 3 3200G. When you're screwing this fan in, you want to do it kind of, if we have any percussionists or drummers out there, you do in a opposite. You don't do them in order this way. So you go side to side in here. I'm going to screw this in. Gerald, King Piccolo, yes, I actually use Slobs, that's Streamlabs for OBS. I use that for my gaming channel. I actually did a video on using it for church, but it wasn't at the quality that I thought, and that's why y'all haven't seen it. But I've seen other people use it. It has a lot of it's leaning heavily towards church stuff. And I really need to have a way to where this is automatically queued. Streets is Destiny. Hello, everybody. All right, so we got this on here. Next thing we're going to do is, and why does my stuff keep changing? See, I need to do a behind the scenes one day so y'all can see all this quote unquote chaos that I have going on, bouncing between all this stuff. So I'm trying to live stream on my other computer that is to this direction that y'all can't see while I'm doing this. All right, so we got this done. Let me bring up this other message right here. So, a journey of random musings. Why, yes, I do. This is actually a subscriber who contacted me and purchased this computer from me, and this is what I'm building for them. So, yes, I do. I do it. I used to have it on my website where I do them, but it's kind of difficult that the supplies are kind of limited from vendors. So, most of the time if somebody asks, I have to have a conversation with them, while I'm looking up and contacting vendors to make sure the parts are available, then yes, I do. But there's, you know, right now I can't just have it on my website and you just buy them anytime, because it's kind of hard to make sure I get the stuff. So hopefully that makes sense for y'all. Streets of Destiny, hello. St. James, is vMix user friendly? I would say that's subjective. I would say if you started with vMix, yes, it's very user friendly. If you started with OBS, it's user friendly. I have been using OBS, and to be quite honest, I have not introduced vMix to my church because I thought, because I've already trained them, that it would be difficult to switch over. That's the same reason why we're still using ProPresenter, even though I like Worship Extreme, is because everybody has been using ProPresenter, and to get them to change everything, I wanted to make it as easy as possible. All right, so believe it or not, that's everything here on the motherboard. We're going to be adding the hard drive and our capture card, but we need the case for that. So let me clean up my desk here, and we're going to bring over the case and the power supply. But I must say, I really recommend that y'all try and build a system. It's not as intimidating as you would think. You said my video is only coming in as that. Okay, give me a second, because then that would be vMix. All right, give me a second. I need to stop this, and then I'm gonna start it right back up because the resolution is messing up. All right, can y'all see me now? It should have upgraded in the quality, I would think. It says I'm in 1080p 60. And I'm like, come on, y'all, we just started. Who gave me a thumbs down? I'm just building a computer. So I'm not sure what's going on with that. Hold on, let me get some other chat. Says how many gigabytes does it have? It actually has a 2 terabyte drive and a 512 gigabyte drive, which is going to be running the operating system. That's what I am putting in this system right now. And that's because that's what they requested. The video is only coming in at 360. Yeah, I changed that. It should be able to upgrade now. I don't know why it's acting up. Let me refresh my page here. Thank you there, King Piccolo, for the super chat. I appreciate it. Yeah, I don't know what is going on with the stream, because I am streaming it at 1080p, but I think it's because I started it and hit the wrong button on vMix. It's been a while since I've used that. So when you come back and watch this, it'll be in the full resolution. And actually, let me start recording this as well as a backup. And I need something to drink because my tooth hurts. Yeah, my lower thirds, like I said, I am in the process of learning this. So let me clear my queue. And I think I have it on repeat. Yeah, I do. Let me turn that off. I don't want rotation on my lower thirds. So hopefully that will clear that up. So let's see. View all, and really? All right, there we go. All right, so let me see. Where did I leave off at? So I'm gonna add these to the queue, and I'm gonna try and answer them that way, because that makes it easier for me, so I can continue doing this. Yeah, sorry if it's still going in 360. Yeah, it just upgraded for me. I'm at 1080p now, so just give it a second. I don't know why it did that, but you should be fine. And I'm going through the chat. So my church decided to go with Worship Extreme. I'm still figuring out how to use it. Yeah, honestly, a journey. Worship Extreme is really nice. If I had known about that before I started, I would have stuck with that. How do you able to have the comments show on your stream? I am using vMix, and that has this built-in Byron. Hey Dominic, what's going on? Building my video editing PC hopefully next month using one of your kits. Awesome, dude. That is awesome. Now again, most of the video editing systems, you can always get more power. So this is one of those things that, hey, I know some people are saying, well, why don't you get an RTX? Why don't you get this? Why don't you get that? I use an RTX in my video editing system. And most of the people who've contacted me, they do have a budget. So I'm trying to get them to the point where the system can expand to it, but it makes it easy for them to use at this time, and they're able to do what they need. Now, to be honest, the last system that I built was way more powerful than what I was using the entire time at my church when I was working. So it is capable of doing that. Let me do this. Charlene is asking, is it possible for someone to contact you to help with purchasing? Yes, you can. Just hit me up at questions@ajhomes.com. I would honestly say do a phone consultation or a Zoom one, and then we can walk through that for you. And I have it on my queue. All right, the next one is from Ashbury United Methodist Church. If you use the ATEM Mini Pro ISO, does it eliminate using any other computer hardware? Yes, you do not have to. I have an ATEM Mini Pro. I could live stream with it. I just choose not to. That's just me. But yes, the ISO, honestly, the ISO is only for if you really want to record all the feeds that are coming in. And I think that's it. And I really need to have somebody that's running this while I'm doing this, because this is kind of difficult to do. All right, everybody, you're getting it from there. Hello, everybody. Winston Price, hello from Jamaica. I'm going over here because okay, I got you. Good afternoon, sir. Looking forward to a great tutorial this afternoon. Yep. Walter, and is there something similar to comments showing in OBS? No, I'm not aware of that there's anything like that. If there is, please let me know. And I've been talking a little bit much, so I've unwrapped the power supply here. Let me set this on the floor, and I'm gonna bring over the case, which is the Versa H17. This is the same case that I use at my church, and honestly, it's a micro ATX case. Has a basement to hide the cables and the power supply and all this other stuff. Really nice case. And honestly, this case is like $39. So it is very affordable. So I'm trying not to destroy this box off camera, because this is what I use to ship back to the person who purchases this computer. Oh, all right, here we go. So we got our system now. So let's take this off. Top cover. And honestly, at this point, it's going to be hard for me to answer comments. Let me see. I'm not going to put them on the screen. I'm going to answer them as I see them. Gregory Arthur, hello from Bahamas. Hello. Tim Sue, hey, I'm planning on getting an ATEM Mini Pro for our church. Any idea if Blackmagic is planning an NDI implementation? I don't believe so. I haven't heard anything. I really hope they would. Billy, hello from Ghana. Thank you. Y'all for stopping by and hanging out with me. Want to see how much we can get into this system and finish it, because like I said, I have to go pick my daughter up from daycare. So we're gonna find these standoffs that are inside of here. We want to make sure they line up. So we have a 1, 2 right there. Yeah, that one doesn't line up. That lines up. Then we want to make sure the rest of these line up. All right, we're good. All right, so let's get our I/O shield. And sorry, my head was in the way when I was trying to look. Hey, Augustine, if you're still there, let's count how many times I do a swig of V8. Alrighty, let's put our I/O shield here. And be very careful with this, because this is what I messed up in my recent video that I did for More Over Church. Some of these, when you install these, they have little lips that can get stuck. So it actually got stuck inside of the port. So I had to completely remove everything to get back to that. All right, so this is done. Now let's go ahead and slide the motherboard in there. Make sure everything lines up. It's only one way this thing can go, so you can't really mess it up. And make sure it doesn't get hung up on this thing. Alrighty, we're there. Now your motherboard, well, not your motherboard, excuse me, and that's why I did this wrong. Your case comes with the screws to secure everything, and that's what I did not take out because it's on this other side. Francisco, suggestion on how to set up the A10 Mini Pro, record plus animated logo and live score and using a slow Mac for streaming. Honestly, if you're using the A10 Mini Pro, let the A10 Mini Pro handle the live stream. Connect your Mac into the A10 Mini Pro and run all of your graphics off of the Mac into the A10 Mini Pro, and then use the A10 Mini Pro's, the downstream keyer and all that stuff to play, because the lower models of the A10 can't do video, but you can play the video from another source and it will look that way. I think that would be the easiest way, and then the live score, everything could be ran the same way. That would be my suggestion. All right, so we got all the screws and stuff here. And while I'm here, let me turn this. The hard drive is going to go in the bottom right here. And this is an old mechanical drive because these are cheap for such large storage. And they have stoppers on here, so we got to use the right kit for this. So this is for a 3.5 drive. This is for a 2.5. So we're going to use these. And the way these work, you can screw in and then they lock in place and hold to the bottom of the motherboard. So they're going to go in this way. So we got 1, 2, 3. We got a bunch of extra leftovers that we're not going to use. So the fourth one is actually already in the case. So you hook these up, screw this in place, and then put the other screw in from the bottom of the case. And Mr. Bug Homes Official, goodbye. I don't know, well, let me keep my mouth to myself. Like, why come to a live stream just to put nonsense on there. I don't understand that. So anyway, this is here. We're going to come in here, slide this in place. That's in place. Now we're going to add this last screw here for here, and then this will secure the hard drive to the case. All right, that was simple. Now we need to get the cable that comes with our motherboard to connect our hard drive. All right, Gus, we're about ready to hit the V8 again. All right, we got that here, and we're gonna route these through these holes to get our cable management nice and neat. All right, so we got that. Since we're here, let's add our power supply. It has a vent at the bottom, so the fan needs to face that direction. So let me not pull my mic out. So let's slide that in there. 4 screws go in place to hold that there, which would be, where are they at? Right here. So this 1, 2. Streets of Destiny. I will be testing OBS with lower third live chat. I'll let you know what I find. Thank you. Please let me know. Because I want to, the longer we keep doing the live streaming stuff from a church standpoint, you know, you want to start adding some more type of, you know, integrations and stuff like that. And it's more of the production of the whole thing. You want it to be interactive. You just don't want it to be just a camera up, no one's talking, no one's saying anything. And the good thing is, if you moderate it, it will be a very awesome experience, I believe. Similar to like when you gotta kick people out because they want to have their 15 minutes of fame and just doing silly stuff, in my personal opinion. So that's why you got to have some form of moderation, mediation, or whatever you call it, so that people don't get all out of control there. All right, so this is secured enough, so now I can turn it up and finish screwing this one in. All right, so we're going to secure these. Push this up. There we go. And this. So I hope everybody's having a good day. Even with the tooth pain, it's been a great day. All right, so we got this done. So we have certain components with your computer that you're going to need. These are SATA plugs that will go to your hard drive, and since we only got one, we can set this aside. Here's some old Mullix connectors that we're not using, so we're going to strap these and put this down here in the basement. This one is for the CPU. This is going to be routed up here and plugged into the motherboard. That's one connection. If we had a graphics card that goes in here, a dedicated one, this would send it power if it's needed, but we're not needing this. So I'm going to strap this separately because it's highly unlikely these are going to be used, but this one possibly would. We have another set of power cables from SATA ones that we're not using. So I'm probably gonna put these together because these are the ones that are most likely going to be used. This is the one we're going to use for the hard drive down here, and here's the main power connector for the motherboard. So this is all in planning our wiring here. Jay Brooks, AJ, thanks so much for all you do. This is very informative and inspirational. Hey, I appreciate it, man. I'm just glad this is helping y'all. Because for y'all that don't know, when I came back to my church, I was a contractor, and they were building a new sanctuary, and there was nobody that was really technical. There you go, Augustine. Here's another swig. So after everything was said and done, found out that we got kind of gypped with some of the stuff that we got. We ended up paying a whole bunch more than we really should have. So a part of what I do is to try and educate y'all so that if somebody comes in and saying, hey, you need to make sure you get some new spark plugs for your computer, it's like, come on, man, that doesn't exist. You don't need that. And I'm just trying to educate so that y'all can feel empowered. I have no, if y'all want to do business with me, that's great. If you don't, that's great too. I'm here to try and help. But like for this example, this church actually reached out to me, and I give them a very, very, very competitive price. And I just try and help out. At least I know this system that I'm building is the exact same thing that I have at my church. Do I travel to Texas? I have, not recently, but I have. I've had a lot of people here who are in Texas, so you never know. You never know. So, all right, so we got all this here. We're going to flip this back over because we're going to get all of these cables sorted out. But let's feed, like this is another one we're not using. So let me use a zip tie for this one because we definitely are not going to be using this. Because honestly, I think the hardest thing for me is when they got rid of DVD drives. Like I really don't use DVD drives. And for a long time, when I went to upgrade my recent system, it took me a while to even be cool with the fact that I didn't have one. But I am perfectly fine without it. All right. So we got the cable there in the basement, and we are good so far. And like I said, we're going to be doing some adjustments with all these cables later. All right. So now, since we got all of our right cables and screws, now let's go ahead and set everything in place. And this fan header keeps falling. All right, so we got our motherboard. Let's set that in here. And I'll wait to plug that in. And we're going to get our screws that are for the motherboard. That's not done. It's my power cable. And I have so many of these things left over that I can just pull from the inventory if need be. And I think I just threw it away. I balled it up. Oh, no, that's not it. Actually, let me use that. So I guess for the people who are still on the chat, how many, what are y'all using right now for your live streaming system? A journey of random using. What's the minimum amount of memory that you would recommend? Honestly, for Windows, it should be 16 megabytes. I mean, excuse me, 16 gigabytes. Excuse me. You shouldn't get shouldn't get a system with less than that nowadays. And how many monitor ports do you recommend? Well, that all depends on what you're going to use it for. Like in the live streaming systems that I do, this is meant for live streaming only. And it's not really meant to run multiple things, even though it can. I would honestly say at least 2. This one actually only has 2 on the motherboard, but if you got a card that can have multiple, like the card that I have, the graphics card that's in my computer right now, Augustine, here's another one, it can have 5 monitors. But that all depends on how you're going to use your system. What's the purpose of your system? If you're using a system for a presentation, honestly, I would say have 3 monitors, because one is for what you're looking at, the other one is for what everybody else is seeing, and then the third one, just as a future case, is for if you're using a stage monitor for everybody else. So Walter, you're saying you're using a Mac Air, and I got a free hand now, so I can kick this up. He is using a Mac Air Pro laptop, webcam and Zoom. Okay. What is the minimum processor for Intel in a generation? I don't want to come off like I'm an Intel hater, because I'm not. I just want to say the AMD stuff has kind of like shown Intel how lazy they've been the last couple of years. So that's why I stick with Ryzen, and for the cost and performance. Intel, when you're coming to live stream, you need at least an i7 or higher. i7 minimum. Don't do an i3. Don't do anything like that. They just can't keep up. Okay. Pavilion Center is using a MacBook Pro. Okay. Charlene, we're using a laptop for YouTube ministry. Okay. And sorry, let me clear out this. Okay. And Gregory is saying a Dell Core i7 laptop with OBS and a Logitech 970. Okay, cool. I still use my Logitech C9 920. They're great webcams. All right, so we're just putting our last screws in here to secure this to the motherboard. And one more. And I'll be quite honest, outside of installing Windows, this doesn't really take that long. The more comfortable you're with it, it becomes really straightforward. So we're plugging in the first power cable at the top. Main power, I'm actually going to loop through this other hole here. Let me get rid of the chat here. Loop this one from here. They only go in one direction, so you can't really mess it up. You just don't want to put a whole lot of force on this when you're trying to connect everything. All right, that's in place. Here is our SATA cable for our hard drive, and you can plug it in any one. It doesn't really matter. Probably going to put it here just because it's closest. We have our case fan that's right here, and a header is right here to give it power. I'm going to loop this around so that this cable is not all over the place. Plug it right in, so that's how it's going to get power. So that is good. And I might put a zip tie just to secure that, but that's fine. Let's see. KCMI 89. My laptop that I stream is an Acer Nitro 71 Intel i7 with a GTX 1050. It works very well with OBS. Yeah, I believe it would, mainly probably because of the processor as well as that graphics card. That's the exact same type of graphics card that I use for, actually a 1650. That's even better, but I used a 1050 for years at my church and it works rock solid. So Yajo is saying, I've never put a system together, so really worried about putting all the plugs where they belong. I just mentioned, hey, honestly, it's you're gonna have that the first time you do it, but it's really straightforward, because you can't plug it in the wrong way. If you plug it in the wrong way and it doesn't go, you're forcing it, and it's trying to tell you this in the wrong way. There's another one, Augustine. You just got to be careful with it, and then especially, not that I try to, entice you to get the exact same stuff that I'm using, but I try to show you everything. I don't have a camera right now that I can zoom in super tight so you can see exactly everything that I'm doing, but I try. Here, and man, that's a double there. Okay, so you said you went with the Radeon 5600 XT, good graphics card. Sean is saying Dell i7, 16 gigabytes RAM, 256 gig SSD, 1 terabyte hard drive, a 1060, PTZ optics, mini recorder. Great system. Sounds like it's a great system. All right, so we got this here. What I'm going to do is go ahead and jump ahead, and I was going to do the card. Let's do all the rest of the cables first, so we can get this out of the way. So we have all these other cables for our USB, sound, power, and for all the buttons to work. So I like to route these down through the bottom. It all depends on how close our jack is. All right, so I'm gonna route everything this way. And y'all will see in a second once I pull all this up. All right, so I'm gonna do everything except for the case cables right now. All right, so we got our USB 3. There's only one place it can go because it actually says USB 3 and it has a little tab. So you can't plug it in the wrong way because it won't go. You'll actually break something if you try to force it. And this cable is kind of stiff, so that's why I need to just bend it just a little bit so I can fit it in there. All right, there we go. A Journey is asking how many display ports, how many outs there are. So you got a DVI and an HDMI. It's 2 on this one. All right, so we got that. The next is a regular USB, which happens to be right beside it. I'm just gonna move this cable. And it's missing 1 pin, so it's only one way that this could plug into here. Now, I'm not using the manual because, I've built in this system so many times, I know exactly which plug is which. But again, it will walk you through where everything needs to go. All right, and then we have our onboard sound connections for the headphone jack and everything right in the front. And the cable fell out. So come right back in here. It goes right here into F audio. It's missing 1 pin, so it's only one way it can go. All right, so that's there. All of our cables are here. So now, this is normally the pain point right here. These are all of the little cables here for the hard drive light that you see on the front of the case, the reset button, the power button, and the hard drive. Now normally all of these are in the same layout, so it's kind of hard for me to get this to a point where you can see it. But normally the hard drive is at the very bottom here, and you got to look on your motherboard manual exactly where these would go. That one goes there, and it's silk screened on here what is what, but like I said, it is very tiny. And I just need to sort these cables out. So that's the reset button right there. And let's see. No, actually there's no display port on this system. It's a DVI and HDMI, so only one HDMI. There is no display port on this. But there are other motherboards that actually do. This one just does not. I honestly got this motherboard because it has the bare minimums of what's needed for a typical live streaming system, and I do that to lower the price as much as possible. So you could always get something a whole lot fancier if you want it with all those features. All right, so we got this secured. I'm gonna zip tie this here and start doing some cable management so everything isn't all over the place in here. And I normally use fingernail clippers to clip these cables to get them up out of the way. But wait a minute, before I do that, let's put our capture card in here. We're going to use this PCI 16. And I like this motherboard because it's small, cheap, affordable, reliable, and it has two 16 slots. So you could add a 2-slot graphics card in here, but you still have enough space for a capture card if you want it. Some other ones only give you 1 slot, so that's all you have room for. You can't add anything. It doesn't give you growth if you want to repurpose the system. And the reason I build PCs is because it lets me grow with time instead of buying a whole new system. That's why if you have to use a laptop, it's nothing the matter with that. I just choose not to, because if your laptop reaches its limits, you have to go and get a brand new laptop. All right, here is our Decklink mini recorder 4K. Has HDMI and SDI connections. Slide that in there, just like that. Then we're going to screw this back down. And actually this case comes with a speaker, because most of the computers used to have a speaker where you would hear it when it chimes off. This one comes with a little speaker that you just plug in into the speaker port that's on the motherboard right there. And that's it. So now I'm going to start with our cable management to get cables and stuff out of the way. Secure these, and I'm going to probably put one more on this. And I can feel the V8 calling me. And for those who came in late, my back tooth is hurting really bad, so I always have to slosh something on that tooth so it doesn't hurt. I did take some medicine, but it doesn't seem like that medicine is helping right now. Be careful with this, because if you cut this cable, unless y'all are good with soldering wires, you're gonna have a bad time. All right, so the inside, honestly, is done. Now, this is the part where you just clean this up so you make it look nice. All right, I'm sorry, I missed over G.E. Smith's comment. Let's bring that up here, shall we? Give it a second, and it should be up here. Well, I thought it would. Oh, there it goes. So I use a MacBook Pro now, but got questions from my clients about Windows machine. I have an old 10-year-old Dell, and it cut off the rest of your comment. With an i7 16 gigs, will that handle the streaming? Honestly, I think that will work. If you don't, the i7, need to know how many cores and threads it has. Worst case scenario, you could always throw a graphics card in there, and that will give you some added performance for that. And Pavilion Center wants to know, what do you recommend for outdoor streaming? The A10 Mini Pro. Honestly, I don't want to sound like a broken record, but since that thing came out, that has set the bar on how much it costs and all that stuff. And it just makes the barrier of entry very, 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 very easy. The only thing with that, it's wired. So you need to do a little manipulation to get a wired connection outside to work with it. But it's easier to get the wiring situation, to use that outside, than it is to try and do anything else. All right, so we got this secured here, and we're just going to start securing these so the cables are not all over the place. It just makes it nice and tidy. And now I could install some additional fans in here, but because of what this system is being used for, we don't have it's not drawing a lot of heat or anything, or producing a lot of heat when you're running the system. So I don't really need any additional fans. And honestly, I should have ran these cables this way. Oh well, I might come back and do that. So let's just secure this. And for what I'm doing, do you have to do this? No, you don't have to do it at all. I just like it because I've come back behind so many people and working on their computers that it was a nightmare, and the computers need to breathe. And that's the reason that was the point of why I was talking about I didn't add extra fans. And it's more than enough fans to do what it needs to do, because the only thing that's really producing heat is the capture card, which has a fan on it, the processor that has a fan on it, and then it has an exhaust fan in the back. And there's also a fan on the power supply, but that's not going to get too bad. Yeah, AJaytheCEO Mini Pro, that's what is right here. That is what I'm using that y'all are seeing right now. Granted, I'm using vMix, but I could have just sent this directly through to y'all, but with the A10 Mini, there's no way to capture chat and stuff like that I was doing with vMix, which I wanted to test out. All right, so one more to secure this. And I think I'm going to pull these cables and run them a different way so that they're not all bunched up here. And so this is not needed. I thought I had another zip tie around here. Yes, I do. Got a drawer full of them. So let's strap this down. And I'm going to make this loose, so if somebody has to cut this, it's not going to be difficult. I just want to tighten it down so I can get it up out of the way. And y'all can't see that because of the camera position. All right, so what I think I'm going to do is run these this way. And then I will get everything else. And this is actually easier to do it this way. Put this up under the SATA connection. That. And yep, I think that's good. So let's snip these wires. I mean, not the wires, these cable ties. All right. See, that wasn't painful at all. That's done. Let's put the screws on the back of this. Flip this over. Inside is fine. I normally will pull this down, but I mean, nothing else is going in here, so that's perfectly fine. Let's put the plate back on here. That's good. And let me get some V8, and then let's power the system up. Make sure everything is fine. I want to make sure that the processor fan is plugged in, because I remember in college when I was building computers, I didn't plug the fan in and I fried my whole processor and I had to buy another one. So you don't want to do that. So make sure the fan is plugged in. And that's why I didn't put the side on yet. Last thing you need is to put this side on, and then, oh, something's not working. So let's unplug this. All right. Now let's hit the power button. Does it come on? Boom. There we go. System is up and working. Now do I have a, hold on. I need an HDMI cable so I can plug this into the ATEM Mini so y'all can see what I am doing. Hopefully this cable is long enough. So let's plug this in, and HDMI right there. All right, so let's switch. I need a keyboard. Okay, you heard the sound, so the system did go off. I need my keyboard. And where's that at? I don't know where I put my wireless keyboard so that I can get into this. If not, we bought a keyboard and mouse for them, so we'll just use that one. And let me get the mouse here. I like using the Logitech MK120. Good, reliable, old-fashioned wired keyboard. So let's plug that up. Then we got our keyboard here. Let me see, did anybody have anything? Hey Paul, thanks for joining from Northern Ireland. I've always wanted to visit Ireland. Heard it is very beautiful out there. All right, so we got our system. We got our keyboard, which is lighting up. We're gonna get our Windows thumb drive here so that we can install everything. So let's switch over, make sure everything is working. All right, so this is the computer. It didn't have anything because I didn't have a drive on it. Let's restart. And we're going to, it should boot off of the thumb drive and give us directions to start installing Windows. And there it is. That's why you see the little wheel, and we are good to go. Now, I'm not going to hold y'all through this entire thing, but the good thing is this system is going to be pretty fast when it comes to installing this. Install. We want to make sure everything shows up, because remember we have two drives that are on here. No, I don't have a product key because we're going to add that later. We're going with Windows 10 Home. Yes, to the agreement. I want to do custom install. And as you can see, both of our drives, the 2 terabyte and the 512, we're going to pick that. That's what we want to install on. And we will get the other drive fixed later. So I think this is going to be a while. So hold on. I think I hit the wrong button. Yes, I did. So that was pretty much it. I'm going to be running Windows, the Windows install through the rest of this and just going from there. It's going to take a minute for it to finish up, but I'm going to install all the software, all the drivers. So we're installing OBS, the OBS Complete bundle because they bought the live streaming system from me, the drivers for the capture card, all of the software for the motherboard, the processor, the graphics card, sound, and then that's pretty much it. And then let Windows do all of its updates. So that's about it. So thank y'all for watching. It was pretty, like I said, I was going to do this as a recorded video, but I was like, might as well just do it as a live stream while I'm testing out vMix, and I think I got my stuff sorted out. So tomorrow, our Q&A should be able to put everybody's questions up this way, so I think it should flow a lot easier this time. So thank y'all all for joining me, and I really encourage y'all, if you haven't built the computer before, I will have after this is over, I will put the link to all the parts that I used, and you can always come back and reference this. All of my live streaming systems, for the most part, use the hardware that I just did, except for the video editing one. That was a more higher end one. But I really encourage you to try and build a system, because once you build a system and you understand what it takes to do it, you'll be very inclined to at least know if something happens, if something breaks, how it could work, how you could possibly fix it. So that's about it. And again, thank y'all for joining me. Because of vMix, I only have 4 inputs, so I can't play anything for our patrons who supported me with this and made this possible. But just know, the patrons, who some of them are on the channel, on the chat right now, y'all made this possible. Thank y'all so much. And if you have any questions, you can email me at questions@ajhomes.com. And if you want me to try and build something like this, any type of computer for you, let me know. Contact me over questions@ajhomes.com. Again, I cannot guarantee that I can build a system for you because it always depends on the availability of the products. But there's no harm in trying, and we can just go through and see if it's possible. So thank y'all so much. Well, hold on. Let's see. We got one question here. Let me see if I can throw that up before we're done. And if I can get my keyboard out the way. And let's actually just send it here. So Dominic wants to know, I'm curious, are you using a sound interface for your video editing? I may use FireWire card only because of this. Honestly, no, I'm not. I just use, for my video editing, no. I have my mixer. Honestly, I haven't been using it just because of what I've been getting so far, so quality. When I hook my keyboard up, if I wanted to record that, I would use the mixer for that, but I'm kind of happy with what I got right now. I haven't had any issues, especially after so many people told me about the issues with my sound. I finally got my sound straight, and I'm just going to continue using the Rode Wireless. When I add other people is when I'll add my shotgun mic, or I'll bring the mixer out when I need to have a bunch of people, like in a podcast setting or multiple people talking. That's what I would use. Thank y'all so much. The cool dude, what's going on, man? Everything's good. Thank y'all so much for watching, folks. Our Q&A tomorrow should be around like 11:50. I'll let y'all know on the community on my channel if something changes. I do need to go to Lynchburg, so I might bring everything with me and probably do this live stream with their equipment at Fifth Street Baptist Church while I'm fixing that out, but I will let y'all know about that. thank y'all so much for watching. Really appreciate it. And we will see y'all. Do I have my ending on here? Yes, I do. So we'll see y'all in the next video, folks. Later.